Hey everyone, I'm Allison.
I'm Bryce.
And we're Better Half Reviews. And today we are talking about our first impressions and opinions about the game Septenarius. This is designed by Austin Kelleher from Kelleher Games, and it's coming to Kickstarter October 5th.
Septenarius is a rummy-style game with a twist, and it's a lot of fun. So let's stay right here, because we're not checking anything out today.
Good job remembering. So in Septenarius, like you said, it's a rummy game with a twist. Speaking for myself, I had never really played an actual game of rummy. I've played other games that were probably more like variants of it, where you're like collecting sets or runs and everything, and I've done games like that, but I haven't actually played rummy, so I can't specifically compare it to rummy, but now I've got an idea of what rummy is like.
Yes.
So Austin designed the game Heart of Cthulhu, which is coming out from Kickstarter. It's fulfilling like right now. And the first thing we noticed with that game was the art. And he is an artist. He has like some really cool art. And so in Septenarius, he's brought that art style back again with, a different theme and everything, with all the different mythical creatures. And I don't always remember the names of all of them.
For some reason, I do. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a manicore. Oh yeah, that's a...
I remember most of them, I think, but yeah, like...
But I love the artwork. It looks great. I know the cards that we have here and are showing are going to be a little different than the final cards, but I think the base artwork is going to be fairly similar.
Yes. Yeah, the lines and stuff of the animals and creatures, that's not changing, but yeah, the prototype is going to look a lot different from what the final version will look like, but it doesn't change the gameplay. I like that. So even though we just had the prototype, it was like a really good quality cards. I'm like, it's a really nice prototype. In our prototype, we had a bit of a harder time with some different colors and lines and stuff, but all of that is going to be adjusted for the final game. So I'm just mentioning that in passing. If you are seeing the colors and you're like, I'm not sure about this, don't worry about it. It's the prototype. It's going to change. So don't judge it based on that. When you play this game, you can play it individually. Well, not individually, but you can play it all against each other, or you can play it in teams. Which mode do you like better?
I personally like the teams better. I like being able to coordinate with someone to be able to put down the
meld.
Meld, thank you. I was thinking MERS. I'm like, that's definitely not it.
MER.
The meld. And I think it just makes it easier to get to a Septenarius. I like kind of the twist that you can't put down a meld until you reach a certain number of points for that meld.
For that round.
Well, for the round, yeah. It kind of goes up every round, which I think is just an interesting little twist to it. I don't know if that's actually how you play rummy. I'm like Allison, like, I might have played rummy when I was a teenager, but it was forever ago.
So long ago. But yeah, so when you're playing Septenarius, like, you, in the game, like, you have to draw a card, and then you can choose to play some stuff or not, and then you discard. That's your turn. And to go out, you either have to play on something that's already on the table in front of you, or play out by discarding. But
you can't go out until you have a meld or a set of 7.
Yes, which is a Septenarius. So that's kind of like the gist of it. When you are comboing cards and stuff, like, there's wild cards that you can use to help make more melds. I like that there's like the pure melds and the mixed melds, or Septenarius, sorry.
Yeah, that are worth different points.
Yes.
And then the border or background color of the cards also adds various points.
Yeah, I think that's going to actually just be like in the corner of the card in the final game.
Yeah, that was something that was changing.
So when we were playing this game, I played it badly because...
It was the first time
I know, but... So when I'm playing, I'm like, oh, I've got 3 of this kind, and that's enough to put down for the first round. Oh, I've got 4 of this. And then I played it, and then I was stuck with 1 card. And I was like, oh, shoot.
And you can't go out because you don't have a Septenarius yet.
Yeah, and I totally messed up, and I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. So that was my bad, not being strategic enough, where there's a fine balance between keeping the cards in your hands and like waiting it out long enough to have something good to put down. Because if you wait too long, you're going to be stuck with too many cards in your hands, and the cards left in your hands are negative points.
Yeah. So it is a fine balance between like, okay, they're about to go out. I'm just going to put down as many cards as I can so I don't have negative points.
Yeah.
Versus, now I only have one card and I'm sitting here for 12 rounds because I can't do anything.
Something I thought that was interesting is when you're playing it, so you have the discard pile that you can draw from there as well. But the way that it works is if you draw from the discard, if you take the top card, you have to be able to use it right then, aka be able to lay it down onto something or use that card and the cards from your hand to put something down. Then you draw up the rest of the discard pile. So it's a really interesting thing to try to figure out where it's like, okay, do I really want to use that card? Because then you're going to be stuck with all those cards underneath. And there's some cards in the deck that are worth a lot of points. But technically in a bad way too. So it's like if you can't get rid of them or use them, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, there's the
imp cards,
where if you have all 5 of them...
The black imp cards.
Well, yes, if you have all 5 of them, you can put them down and they're worth a lot of points. But there's only 5 in the deck, and they're worth negative 100 points per imp card.
Yep.
So it's a balance of like, okay, maybe there's 3 imp cards in the discard pile, and I have one. Am I going to get the other one?
Yeah.
Do I want to draw that pile, or am I going to be discarding imp cards the next 3 turns?
And when you're playing it, the discard is supposed to be kind of like nicely like tucked together, so like you can't really be looking through. So it's like, wait, how many imp cards are in there? Shoot, I don't remember. Where it's like, do I want to pick this up? Because if you don't have enough of them, you have to have enough rounds to discard them all, especially in a 2-player game. That's like, But yeah, so it's an interesting, lots of interesting choices. Like it's a fairly simple game, but there's a lot of like, ooh, should I do this? Should I wait? And usually I do it not so well.
It's okay.
But
it's a learning experience.
Yeah, that's true. For me, I like the team game as well. It's just, I like kind of like what you said. It's fun to kind of like, okay, what do they got? Okay, ooh, yes, I can play down there. It just gives you more options of where you can play things, and all the like different looks around the table. Like, are you gonna go out? No, okay.
Or you like want to coordinate with your teammate, and you're like,
no, you
don't want to show everybody.
You don't turn it around.
I know.
Oh, there's one time that we were playing, and Bryce is not on my team, but he's sitting next to me, and he was like, "Whoa, well, yeah, you got that moth card," and I didn't know that he was bluffing, and I'm like, "You're looking at my cards," and he's like, "Oh, okay, so now you do have the moth card." I'm like, "Oh, dang it!" Yeah, so he found out I had the moth card. Yeah, and the moth card is something else where it's like you can play it down by itself to get a good amount of points, or you can try to like keep it. See, it's something that never worked out for me. I wanted to keep it long enough that I could be like, and go out with it, but I was always afraid of like losing lots of points.
Well, the other thing you could do with a moth card is prevent someone from picking up the discard pile. So you could play it if they're going to reach for the discard pile and prevent them from doing that.
That's true.
So, in our prototype, we didn't have this rule, but we heard from the creator that there's going to be this twist.
And I wholeheartedly approve of it.
Okay, well, I got to the question.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
The twist is, depending on the type of Septenarius that's created, there's going to be something that happens.
So like,
what do you think about that?
I like that because when we were playing it before, like it was good and fun, but I felt like it needed some more oomph. And I think this is the oomph that it needed. And I don't know what all the different events are going to be. I made a few suggestions, I think, and then we played with Tabletop Mom and Dad, and they made some suggestions, and I'm sure Austin's figuring it out too. But yeah, so I think that's going to really help the game kind of like pick up and have a shine where like something else will happen. Like, I don't know if people have to draw cards or other things, but I think that's the twist that it needed. And it'll be like based on the different factions. So if someone puts down a Septenarius of the mermaids, then the mermaids are going to trigger something.
Yeah, and it might I hope at least a few of them make you think twice about like maybe creating that.
Oh, I'm sure they will. Or like the timing of it, where it's like, shoot, is this good for my teammate? Is this good for me?
Yeah. I'm interested in to see what those twists are.
Mm-hmm.
So we should learn more about that.
Yes. Yeah. So overall, I think that's the gist of Septenarius. We didn't go over all the rules, but I think you have an idea of kind of how it plays. And the pictures that we've been showing throughout this video, it is the prototype. It does look different from the final production copy, or what it's going to look like. You'll see the pictures on the Kickstarter on October 5th, so super soon. What do you think?
Yeah, I really like it. It's a great just card game that you can play with 2 players. You can play with 3, 4. I think it's up to 8.
I can't remember.
We haven't played with that many, unfortunately, but it's just a great time filler. You can, while the rules do say like get up to a certain score and play as many rounds until you pass that score.
You don't have to. That's kind of adjusting. But yeah.
Yeah, as I say, you don't have to do that. You can adjust the game to make it as long or as short as you want it.
Yeah.
Which I really like and appreciate.
And I think they're going to have that in the rules where it's like, if you want to do, like, just determine the points or rounds you want to do. Something I will say, I don't like this as much at 2-player. I feel like I just want more players to be playing it with. And then with having the twist of the Septenarius, like the events, I think that's going to make it better. But yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend this for a 2-player. Like, it is a good, like, little filler. But I'd want to play with at least 3 or more people.
Good point. And
possibly, like, an even number so I could do teams.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. While you can play it 2-player, it does shine better with one. Mm-hmm. And I do say it shines better in teams.
Yeah.
Just because I like those rules a little bit better.
Yeah. And then just as a quick tidbit, in the Kickstarter, I think you're going to be able to add on his previous game, The Heart of Cthulhu, which has some awesome, cool art. It's a totally different game, but that's also an option. So if you want something else to play, then there's that game too.
Yeah, Heart of Cthulhu was a great game as well. We got to play that as a prototype.
Yeah, it was an earlier prototype. I'm excited to finally like get the actual game with all the actual artwork any day now. Anyway, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. It gives you an idea about Septenarius, if you want to back it or not. Check it out on Kickstarter. We'll put the link down below where you can get some more information.
And be sure to follow us on Instagram. We post there pretty much daily. Well, she does. And it's awesome. It's a lot of fun. Go join us there.
All right. I'm Allison.
I'm Bryce, and we're Better Half Reviews.
Happy gaming.
Have fun.
I still think there should have been a rule of like, Septenarius played at 7,000 points.